ever felt like money saving or budgeting advice is just unrealistic? Maybe it feels overwhelming when you start thinking about getting your finances in order or trying to save some money. Like you're gonna have to give up everything you enjoy to accomplish this. If that sounds like you, then hopefully today's video will be a breath of fresh air, because we're gonna talk about 10 realistic money saving things that you can apply to your life, and it's not gonna be skipping your coffee at the coffee shop. Although that is helpful, but that's not what we're talking about today. These are just practical, doable strategies that will help you save money in your day-to-day life without feeling like you've given up everything you enjoy along the way. I'm Sarah, I'm a certified financial educator, and I created this channel, It's All His, to give biblical, godly financial encouragement to anyone who's looking to be a better steward of the money that God has given them. If that sounds like you, please consider subscribing for new videos every week. And if you don't have a biblical worldview about money, these practical tips can still apply. So hopefully you'll stick around. All right, tip number 1 is you need to use a grocery list when you go food shopping, and you need to actually stick to the list. And I realize that this is really super hard because I just went to one of my favorite grocery stores last night, Aldi, and I did not bring a list. I had like a list in my head. I needed a few items for a cookout that we're hosting at our house this evening. But I definitely left there with more than a few items because I took my time and I wandered around. And Aldi, if you've never shopped there, has some really fun, unique stuff. And so I came home with several items when I went into the store to get like 4 things. I definitely need to take my own advice. If you're going grocery shopping and you're on a budget and you want to save money, your food budget is one of the #1 ways that you can make giant cuts to your bottom line. And something as simple as making and sticking to a list can take you really far. All right, tip number 2 is also one that I'm going to be implementing next week because I will be sitting down in a couple days to meal plan for the following week. And I realize we have a lot of stuff in our freezer. So I'm going to do a use what I have weekly dinner plan. You can do a use what you have week, maybe once a month, as things just kind of tend to accumulate in your fridge, freezer, pantry, garage, wherever you're storing your food. If you don't have that much accumulating, then maybe you could even just do a use what you have meal once a week. But the principle applies, and you are making sure that you take the canned things and the box things and the things in the freezer drawer and whatever it is, and you're using up food that you already have in the house and turning that into a meal before you go and buy more. Again, groceries is a great place to save money. This kind of meal planning can be a little fun. You have to get creative with what you've got in the house, and it's going to save you a ton of money and prevent food waste. Tip number 3 is also one that I have been doing a lot more lately, and that is delaying any purchases for 24 hours. If it's not an absolute need, something that we have to have, I'll put it in the cart and walk away. I have done this more and more lately, and I have saved so much money, or I have not bought things that I would have bought in the past because I've just been able to say, no, you don't actually really need that. You already have something similar. It doesn't matter that it's on sale or that this influencer says it's amazing. You're good. Just walk away. Now, you might do this and come back and say, I need this. I've been wanting this. This is a great time to buy it. But that 24 hours to just make sure, to really think it through, maybe take a look at your budget and how you're doing this month, can really be a game changer when it comes to trying to stick to your budget and save more money. This next one I'm sure is one that you have heard before, but take a gander at all the subscriptions that you have. It can be really easy to forget about that $5.99, $9.99 that's coming out every single month for something that you bought months ago, maybe even years ago. Streaming services, memberships, other types of subscriptions that you might have. Just making sure that you are not sending some company you're no longer really using $10 every single month, because yes, $10 a month, not that big of a deal. But if you're pairing it with 5 over here and 8 over here and 19 over there, and you're not actually getting any value for it, that could be a scary amount of money every month that could be helping you hit other financial goals. It never hurts just to take a look and make sure. Tip number 5 is try, when you can, if you can, to drive less. Batch those errands together. Try to hit errands in the same area of town, or maybe see if someone else in your family, if you have other drivers in your home, can run an errand while they're already going out to do something that they have to do if you don't have to leave the house. This is going to depend obviously on you and your lifestyle and where you're at in your season of life. I currently work from home, and I have a husband who is out driving all day long in his job. So he's able to do things for me, take returns to the UPS store, stuff like that, so that I don't have to get in the car and drive out and do that myself. Maybe you can find ways to organize your errands so that you can save a little bit on fuel costs and wear and tear on your car as well. Tip number 6 is embrace secondhand, because you can save so much money if you are willing to buy something that is gently used. And again, this is going to depend on the item. One of the things I've noticed lately that I love trying to buy used is books for our grandson. My husband and I will go to different yard sales, and I have been able to find some of the nicest books. Books that will last him for years, for pennies, maybe $1 at most. Now, there are some items for him that I'm probably not buying at a yard sale. I'm not going to buy stuffed animals where I don't know what's all been on those. But there are lots of toys and things like that that you can get for so cheap if you're just willing to hit some yard sales, go to a thrift store, maybe look on Facebook Marketplace. Being a good steward means getting the most value out of your money. So don't just be quick to throw it away and buy something brand new. This is also a great way as a Christian to build up that fruit of patience in your life. Do I need to have something right now, or can I take the time to go and look for just the right item? Tip number 7 is an obvious one that I'm sure you've heard a million times. It's just simply go out to eat less. We all know that eating out at restaurants is going to cost us a lot more money than if we cook at home. But you don't have to give up enjoyable meals just because you're not eating out all the time. How can you make the meal at home more special? Maybe it's lighting a candle or putting a vase of flowers that you cut from your yard on the table. One fun thing that I would do for our kids when they were small was take all of the leftovers and make a family diner night for dinner. When I was feeling particularly ambitious, I would write up a menu. And then I would play waitress, and they would sit down, I would take their order, I would get their drinks, and I would prepare them their little meals that they ordered from the list. They loved it, and we still talk about it to this day. And also remember that just because you're eating out less doesn't mean that you never can. It's a lot more fun to go out to eat when you're not doing it all the time, because it is that much more of a treat and a special event. So definitely work that into your budget once in a while, depending on where you're at in your financial journey, more or less, so that you can enjoy it and not feel deprived. And speaking of feeling deprived, set some fun money into your budget every week or every month. I've shared on the channel before how when my husband and I were years ago just scorched earth, paying off all the debt, building the emergency fund, we really did not do this step, and we regret it because it's made it harder for us to enjoy the blessings that God has given us and just relax and spend money sometimes. We were super motivated and we were able to hit our goals fast, and I'm thankful for that. But I think we would have been better off if we'd eased back even just a little bit and worked some more fun money into the budget on a regular basis. Because budgeting doesn't have to mean no fun, it just means that you plan for the fun. So depending on where you're at, what your numbers look like, and what your goals are, set aside a certain amount. It might be really tiny. And as you're working through your goals and working this plan to get out of debt and save, you might be able to increase it. But set some money aside that you can spend for these special things without feeling deprived or guilty. My next tip is to find cheaper alternatives for your favorite treats. You don't have to give up the things that you love, just find a more budget-friendly way to enjoy them. I recently spent some time with my niece, and she was sharing how she bought a few items on Amazon that she can use to replicate her favorite coffee drink. For pennies on the dollar, she can still have that coffee that she loves at home every single day, and it tastes really good, and she's saving so much money in the process. If you have an example similar to this that you've used to still enjoy things that you love but save your budget, please share that down in the comments. These small changes can really add up over time, and you might be able to inspire other people with some ideas on how they can save money. My next tip is to look for free or very cheap ways to entertain yourself, because there are a ton of them out there. In fact, I made a video about that and I will link that up here. This is an area where you can really break your budget, but if you're willing to get creative and do a little searching, you can find so many cool things that are completely free or very, very inexpensive and are often pretty unique. Things you might not have thought about, and you might learn new things about the area that you live. There's probably a lot more fun stuff to do than you realize. It's also about changing your mindset, because entertainment doesn't have to be expensive to be meaningful and to make memories. And my bonus tip for you as you are looking to save money, make and stick to a budget, get out of debt, whatever your goals are, is make sure that you are taking a look every week at your budget. Just a quick 10 minutes to look over the piece of paper, the app, the spreadsheet, whatever you're doing to just have your plan written down for that week or for that month. Make sure you know where you're at. You want to know if you're over in some categories, if you need to shuffle some money around from one area to another, where you're purchasing more than you should be, where you could be pulling back. Just setting aside a quick 10 minutes every week. If you're married, look it over with your spouse. make sure that you're on the same page. This simple habit can help you stay on track and make any adjustments where needed. Remember that saving money isn't about hoarding it so that you can build wealth and be rich and just have stuff. It's about freedom. It's about the freedom that comes from being able to use the money that God's given you to do whatever He wants you to do with it, to be able to bless others, to be able to serve others and give back to the kingdom. You're also allowed to enjoy some of what He's given you, and He provides for your needs through these means. So when you seek to be a good steward, when you seek to be wise with God's money, you are doing it out of a obedient faithfulness to Him and trusting that He is going to take care of you. So which tips would you add to this list? Let me know down in the comments. I'd love to talk to you there, and click over into this video next to talk more about how to save money to the glory of God. I'll see you over there. Thanks for watching.